We're here at Coral Gables City Hall for our first Leaders in Coffee with Coral Gables Mayor Raul Valdes-Fauli. Mr. Mayor, thank you so very much for joining us for our first Leaders in Coffee on Gables Insider. I want to talk to you a little about your 16 years of service to the city of Coral Gables. Where does your passion come from?
I love the city of Coral Gables, and I love to get involved in meaningful things. And I live here. My kids grew up here, and it's a wonderful city, and it is a city that deserves love, attention, and I wanted to get involved. I had been involved in so many things in the University of Miami board, in the museum, in many, many other things. I was chairman of the International Law Committee of the Florida Bar. I was chairman of the Board of Medicine, the first non-MD in the United States to be chairman of a Board of Medicine. And somebody said in 1984, why don't you get involved in the city? It's your city. It needs forward thinking. It needs to think about the future as opposed to potholes. And I got involved, and I won to everybody's surprise.
So you started as commissioner in 1985. How have the challenges changed from 1985 to 2019?
The challenges changed. I was elected mayor in 93 and served for 8 years. It's a different city totally. Because of the traffic, we have 800,000 cars passing through Coral Gables every day. Because of the technology, the smart city, it's a very, very different city. Combating crime with our closed-circuit TV cameras. And people expect more today than they did 20 years ago.
So overdevelopment, that's a topic we always hear about. Are we overdeveloping?
I don't think we're overdeveloping at all. We are developing in our downtown area, east of Lejeune, north of our downtown area. And we have strict zoning controls. You can't build over 16 stories, lot coverage. We have very strict controls. And you have to keep in mind that our downtown area, which is 5% of the area of the city, pays for 45% of our income. We would have to raise taxes by 75% were it not for this downtown area. I want to have development within our strict guidelines, within our strict zoning limits in downtown, because that makes us what we are, an international city and a city that is welcoming to businesses.
Traffic is also a topic that comes up a lot. What do you see as a solution to traffic in Coral Gables? I know we've seen the freebies, we've seen solutions that the city has brought in with the spin and bird scooters as well. Are those a solution?
Those are ameliorative. Yes, we can reduce traffic in Coral Gables. We have 400,000 cars pass through US 1 alone. And those 400,000 cars in US 1 want to go through residential streets in order to lessen the congestion for themselves, which creates a big problem for us. If it were for me, I would outline or bomb or something ways so that it doesn't get the cars into the residential street, but that's impossible. We have 800,000 cars pass through Coral Gables, and it's a big problem. And we would like to encourage Metro Rail, bus ridership, Metro Rail ridership. They're building something like we have in the Dayton station in 37th and US 1 outside of Coral Gables, but it will affect our traffic and the fewer people will drive through Coral Gables. It's a big problem with very difficult solutions.
And I think that leads us to the next question. Sustainability is something that has been part of the project here in the Gables for a few years, and I think the solutions you've tried to pass as a commission for traffic issues have helped towards making this a greener Gables. Where do you see the Gables in the next 20 years as far as sustainability?
I see us working very hard to improve our environment. We have 250 miles of seacoast, including our canals. And that creates a big danger for us in terms of global warming, in terms of the rise of the ocean level. We're trying to deal with it as much as possible, and we even have a very, very good sustainability person in the city that helps us with that. We have forbidden styrofoam, we're forbidden plastic bags, we're looking at plastic straws. There are billions of straws that are poured into our ocean every year, and we're trying to deal with that. One of our our commitments now is to see what comes through the canals that come through Coral Gables in order to try to block the garbage going into Biscayne Bay, to try to preserve Biscayne Bay.
As far as annexation, there was a big loss on annexation with Miami-Dade County last week. The city had been working for many years with the residents of Little Gables, High Pines, and Ponce Davis to secure annexation, or at least a vote from the residents. Tell us about what you think about this decision by Miami-Dade County.
The committee in Miami-Dade County voted against allowing the neighbors to vote for or against annexation. They did not approve annexation, and they would not have approved annexation. What they had to approve was letting the neighbors vote, and I'm very disappointed that they voted against letting the neighbors vote. This is a concerted effort by some businesses in Little Gables that didn't want annexation, and they funded the opposition to it, and it was a pity. I think it was a pity, and it is a subject that will come up again. This came up in the 1990s because it makes all the sense in the world for that area to be annexed to Coral Gables. We surround it, and Coral Gables would be a safer place if we put our closed circuit TV cameras, license plate readers in 8th Street where Little Gables is. If we covered that area with our police, which we don't now, thieves can rob in Coral Gables and go in there and we can't pursue them. It makes all the sense in the world, and yet the county voted against letting our neighbors, the vote on the issue. It's a pity, and I think that the people that voted against annexation and letting the people vote were mistaken, including one of our commissioners.
So you talked about how this will be your last term as mayor of Coral Gables. What do you see as your legacy as mayor of Coral Gables and commissioner, 16 years of service?
I see my legacy I see it in development, rational development within our strict zoning code. I see it as art in Coral Gables. We brought art to the city, and I think it's very, very, very good. I see it as my encouragement on live theater, bookstores, and making it a more livable. Miracle Mile, the restoration was finished in my term. It had taken them forever. And bringing pedestrian traffic, bringing life to Coral Gables. I see that as my legacy.
What do you say to the new demographic of Coral Gables that's moving in, the young families that are just starting their lives here in the city of Coral Gables? What message do you send them?
My message is enjoy. My message is enjoy. But I have a different message, or a message to a different sector. We had 9,000 people vote in this last election 3 months ago, 2.5 months ago. And of that 9,000 people, only 70 voted who were under 25. 70 voters under 25 voted out of 9,000 people. And I think that's embarrassing, that's a shame, that's a dereliction of duty to vote. Those people, it's their future, it's their city, their kids are going to grow up here. Get involved in committees, and at least vote. That's my message to them.
Mr. Mayor, thank you so very much for your time and for being our first leaders in coffee here on Gables Insider.
I love it, and thank you very much for the opportunity.
Absolutely. And thank you for watching. Tune in next time for another Leaders in Coffee.